welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be playing with the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Soft Glam palette. I was not planning on buying this palette. I was like, I don't need another eyeshadow palette. I have enough. I'm good. I'm fine. I went to Ulta. I put one finger into one shadow. I immediately knew that I was gonna get it. And then they were out of stock. And I was like, oh cool, that's fine. I'm just gonna ask this lady when she walks by, hey, is there any of these in the back? And she was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll grab it for you. And I'm like, my life. So that's how I have this palette now, but I'm really excited to be playing with it today. I will be filming a more warm tone look with this palette tomorrow, so that will be a future video. So if you like more warm tones, stay tuned for that. Just a little heads up, if you notice that I look a little different, I'm filming with my Sony camera. This is what I normally use for vlogs. I am putting my Canon T3i to rest. I finally ordered a new camera today and I am so excited, but it doesn't come in until next weekend. So I figured I'd go ahead and play with using my Sony, see how it works. So let me know what you guys think. It definitely won't be like a all the time kind of thing, but I really like the effect that it gives. Maybe for Instagram videos, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. First impression, whatever it is. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with the eyes. I've already done my eyebrows and have primed my eyelids with concealer. I used the Tarte Shape Tape and some translucent powder. I was not planning on getting this palette, but as soon as I seen it in store, I literally put one little finger into the Dusty Rose shade and I was like, I'm getting this. And I'm really glad that I did. The colors look super pretty. It looks so much prettier in person than it did online to me. So for my transition shade, I'm going to start out with Dusty Rose and just kind of work it in the upper crease area. And I just remembered that I plan on using tape for this look. So I'm going to pull some tape out and put it on the side of my eyeshadow. I really have not done this in a long time, so I wanted to do it. And I just kind of match it up to the end of my eye to the end of my brow. So now I'm going to take a Morphe M441, which is a little bit more precise and a little bit fluffier, and I'm going to add more into the crease just to build it up a little lower. Because I don't have too many shades I'm using out of this palette, just because I want to keep it more one-toned. Take the brush that I used last and blend out the edges. And now to deepen it up, I'm taking this Mulberry shade here, right, and I'm just going to start patting this, the outer corner, and start working it into the crease. Take it into the inner corner. I'm going back in with my M441 with a tiny little bit of that Dusty Rose shade to buff out the edges. Make sure you get that outer corner. So we're gonna have a nice sharp line there. Okay, so now I'm gonna take more of my Tarte Shape Tape to cut out my half cut crease. I'm just gonna take some of that on the back of my hand. And I've shown this before, but my favorite way to do this is you just take some on a brush, dot some concealer on your eyelid, and look up. And that's how you know how high you need to take your cut crease. That's what works for me because it's very hard for me to figure out where I should do my cut crease. I do have a little bit more hooded eyes, so if I try to match my actual crease up with the cut crease, it just does not look good. So that's where I take it. I take it well above my actual crease. So I just draw a kind of line from there, and then I go in and really perfect it. And I'm not cutting the crease all the way over. I'm going to stop kind of halfway and then fade it over. And then I'm going to tap that out on the edge with my finger, and that will help blend. And you also don't want the concealer to be really wet when you go in with your shadow. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Take some concealer, dot it, and look up. And again, just tap out the edges, that way there is a not too like harsh transition of the concealer and shadow. So now I'm going to go back into the palette and I'm going to go in with Rose Pink. I'm going to hit it with some Fix Plus like I always do with all my metallic shadows. And I'm going to put that kind of in the beginning and middle of this cut out crease. Oh my gosh, that's really pretty. It's very pigmented. And I'm not going to get right up to our cut crease because I'm going to use a brighter shade, and that's like kind of the key in my opinion to keep these cut creases looking really sharp and nice. Alright, and now I'm going to go in with the color right beside that called Sultry. Looks super beautiful. That one is kind of, seems brown, but it has a little bit of like pinky reflex in it. I'm going to take a little bit of that, hit it with Fix Plus again, and I'm going to hit it on more of this outer part. Just kind of tapping. Okay, and to get really close up to our cut crease and really define it, I love to go in with the Makeup Forever. This is the Starlight Powder in the number 13. It's kind of a champagne color, so I get to use it for a lot of different looks. Comes in a weird little pot like this, but I just take a little bit and then I hit it with Fix Plus. Gonna take that a little here and start to blend it over. And then we'll go back in with our pink shade and blend it back this way. That way there's a nice transition. Okay, so I'm taking a smaller flat brush, going back in with Rose Pink, which is the shade on the main part of the lid. And I'm going to blend those in. So I'm going to go back in with our Mulberry shade and then a tiny little bit of Noir. I don't know, this is a black eyeshadow. Tap this on this outer part and start blending it in. I rarely use black eyeshadow. When I first started doing makeup, I used black shadow like every single time I did my makeup. And I do a lot more patting these days versus like intense blending. I do have very sensitive eyes. So everything that I do with my eyes could potentially start a water hazard of my eyes watering intensely. So I try to be careful and light. So now that I just have residue on my brush, I'm just going to kind of lightly flick that this way on this outer corner. Keep this more like elongated type shape. One thing that really makes a difference with my cut creases I've noticed is if once I'm done with all of this, I take a tiny little brush. This one is a M559, but I like to kind of carve out the outer area to really define this crease even more. I'm just going to take a little hit of our Dusty Rose shade and one little tap into Mulberry. The next thing that I'm going to use could probably make or break this look. I've never used one of these, but I was in Ulta the other day and I immediately was drawn to this picture on the NYX display. It was an eyeball, of which looked very familiar to me. And I was like, wait a second. That is Becca Boo, and she's in motherfucking Ulta. She had, I think, like 2 eye pictures on the display right above these NYX Vivid Bright. So I figured I'd go ahead, show my support, buy some. I got this one and a blue one. And I think I'm going to try to use this as a liner and maybe a little other accent on here. Let's try it. Is it not satisfying to see like a brand new pot? So these are not marketed as a eyeliner or anything like that. It just says a cream, which I'm assuming is like a cream base, but let's try it. I've got my Morphe M409 brush and I'm going to attempt to use this as a liner. Questionable. I go ahead and take some of my Inglot Duraline, which will help kind of thin out the product a little bit. Alright, so I got the shape down, but the texture of it is kind of like not amazing for a liner, but we're going to move along. So let's go ahead and peel this off. For primer today, I'm using the NYX Total Control Drop Primer. And just make sure you don't mess up your eyeshadow or your eyebrows. It's hard to explain the texture of that primer. It's like a cross between like kind of moisturizing but it also feels like it could kind of smooth out pores. It is nice. I like it. Because I'm filming at nighttime, I know it sounds bad, but I honestly don't want to use one of my expensive foundations, so I dug down into my drugstore stash and I did find this Superstay Better Skin by Maybelline. So I'm going to lighten up the shade with my Cover FX. These are the Custom Cover Drops in the shade N10. I forgot that I bought this sponge at Ulta today, so I'm going to try it. It seems a little sketch, but this is from Real Techniques. It is the Brush Crush Diamond Sponge. And this is with the sponge dampened. It did grow. It's very soft. Oh, is this foundation too old to use? I can't even get it to come out. I mean, I thought I just bought it like only a year ago. I mean, I know that's like around time for it to expire, but... Alright, what is going on here? I mean, I'm trying to be affordable. Alright, I guess I'm going to try to use this Infallible Pro Glow. I do not like this foundation on me, but the Total Control drops are going to add some more coverage and make it a little bit more matte. This just shows my pores like, whoa. Give it a little shake. Let's just do what all those Instagram hoes be doing. Just gotta be careful it doesn't fall on my eyeshadow because that would be a travesty. How many of these dried up too? Oh man. This is dried up AF, but I'm gonna use it. I can't. My face makeup might look really bad. Not sure. We'll find out momentarily. So, like, I feel like this part is way too big to stamp this in. So I'm just gonna kind of use the sides, I guess. It covers a lot of real estate at one time, which is kind of nice. We'll see how it goes when we get up here. Kind of awkward around the brows and the hairline. Alright, so I really liked how soft that sponge was. So now I'm going to highlight with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I'm going to get really close up to this area to really keep this wing sharp. So we're going to use the very tip. You have to be very aware of where this like tip is going up to. That's what she said. You can even like drag some like the concealer to make this really sharp. Huh. I like this sponge. I think it's cool. Sometimes there's like a weird little transition between your concealer and your eyeshadow, so just make sure you handle that. Alright, the coverage is looking great. I'm going to go in with some RCMA No Color Powder to set those areas. So this is the side that we applied our foundation. I might need to still use that later on to touch up things, so I'm going to flip it to the area that's clean to use for the powder. So that way I know which side is wet, which side is kind of powdery. Now I don't like to bake under my eyes too heavily because I do have more dry skin, but I do like to bake the sides of my nose to help with my nose contouring. Just take a little bit of that in my T-zone. To start warming up the skin, I'm going to take my Too Faced Not Born This Way. My Too Faced Milk Chocolate Cellulite Bronzer. I've used this way too many times now, but I love it. I'm just pressing this right underneath my cheekbones and also up here in my massive hairline. And the reason I'm not doing a lot of swiping, I'm more pressing, is because I did not set my whole face with powder, so I don't want my foundation to move underneath. For my nose contour, I'm back to using my powder. This is the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten Powder Foundation. It's just a mini little size I got from Ulta one day, and I've been using it for my nose contour, and I love it. And I just kind of go right here in between the very bridge of my nose and this powder. The powder kind of gives me a nice guideline of where not to go past. Go underneath the nose, give me like a little cute button nose, even though I got a big ass nose. For blush, I'm taking this Anastasia blush palette. I'm just going to take this pinky shade here. I never wear blushes like this color. It's really pretty. It's cute. Alright, and before I add my highlight, I'm going to set my face with Max Fix Plus spray. And before that completely dries, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Nicole Guerriero palette. I'm just going to mix Forever Young and Kitty Cat. God, I love this palette. Obviously, we're gonna hit the lip because because I have little baby ones and it helps. I'm gonna go in with my nose contour just to make sure we're super snatching this area here. I want that highlight to be really slim. The wider your highlight's gonna be, the wider the bridge of your nose is gonna look. So by slimming that down, you're really slimming out your nose. For lashes today, I'm going to use my Cocoa lashes in the style Goddess. I always usually use these pair, not the same exact pair, but I usually use this style whenever I do more of like a wing liner. It just gives them nice like winged out effect. Okay, lashes are on, and we're going to go ahead and work on this lower lash line. I'm going to take Dusty Rose on a pointed blending brush. I really like this shade. I feel like shades like this usually go kind of patchy on me and irritate my eyes, but this one's been fine so far. All right, and on a smaller pointed kind of pencil blending brush, I'm gonna take Mulberry. Just a tiny little bit, just to deepen up this outer part. My lips look a little crazy because I've been snacking. So now I want to do a little pop of highlight in the inner corner, but I want it to kind of have a pink shift to it. So I'm taking my Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Moon Child Glow Kit, and I'm going to take the shade Pink Heart. Okay. And to open up my eyes, because they're looking a little small right now, I'm going to run a cream liner. It's not really a liner. This is for your eyebrows. This is the Benefit Highbrow, but I like to use it in my waterline, so that's what I'm using right now. Throw on some mascara, my lower lash line. For lips, I want to be a little bit monochromatic, so I'm taking this NYX lip liner in the shade Mauve, Mauve, whatever. And in the center, I'm going to take the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Crush. Alright guys, this is the final look. So, what do you think? Do we like it? Do we not like it? I really like it. I wish the cream base worked out a little bit better as a liner, but that is not what I believe it's intended for. There is also a chance that I did it incorrectly, so keep that in mind. I did get some of this pink base on this actual velvet right here. All I did was just get a paper towel, sprayed it with some pure alcohol, and rubbed it, and it came off. So that's how you keep these clean. I don't know if it'll work for everything. Please keep your Inglot gel liners well away from this, because I don't think that shit will come out. But I'm going to film with this palette again tomorrow and do more a warm toned look, so that will be next. Let me know what you think about this palette in the comments. I would love to know. Tag me in any looks that you're doing. I'd love to have some ideas. With a palette like this, you could literally do a million different looks, which is why I wanted to try something a little different. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. I was not planning on getting this palette, but did I shave my armpits? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. My favorite... I literally cannot stop cutting split ends. I've been doing this for like an hour. I need to stop. Do you notice a difference? Because I do. I'm gonna go get it wet. That's what she said. No! What are you doing? None of your business. Okay. Excuse me. Whatever this is, I don't really know.